Previous to this, we were talking about that you got that Inside Out was also looking for Black men to fill those positions. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular need?
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely looking for Black men. There's a shortage of, just as you know, and why you exist, there's a shortage of Black men who are able to take on the opportunities in education. I don't think it's a shortage of Black men who know how to do the job. I think it's a shortage of people really reaching out and making it a safe place for them. And so we find that really important. Justin Rogers, my colleague, who is also an alum of the Citywide Poets program and now coordinates that program, we both know that it's really important to have Black male voices for our students as an example, and to show Black men who care about these students. So we're definitely looking for people who are interested in working with youth, who are interested in sharing their own artistry, and who can demystify in a way how art is created and then break that down for youth. That's who we really want. And if you are feeling a little apprehensive, like I haven't done this before, I invite you to apply, because we are really interested in just growing artists who want to do the work. And so we'll meet you where you are and see if it's a good fit, and then get you the training you need to feel that you can be successful in the classroom and continue to build those relationships with students that will grow exponentially over time.
I'll put the sun in my poems so they can see the light. I'll put lips in my poems so my poems can speak. I'll put windows in my poems so the reader can see through them.
I'm not a person that opens up. I hold everything in. I got a lot of stuff built up inside me. So when I'm writing, I feel comfortable expressing myself and opening up.
Our program really gives them an opportunity to see that there are other individuals in the world near them just like them.
Fear of losing my voice when I have so much to say. Fear of my personality. Fear of loyalty ripped apart by tragic happenings.
But at least I stopped calling you daddy. It's too fortunate of a term. Biological father was too technical to allot for the pain that you left.
It would be dark for me if I didn't have Inside Out. It'd be a lot harder, I would say. Trying to make it day to day without having something constantly that I can just brush all my worries off and all the cares of the world into a poem.
These kids are going through a lot. And to be able to have this thing where you can kind of like either escape or get away or put your hands on it and work through that stuff.
Writing can help me understand about how I feel just by reading my own story to help me understand myself better.
Inside Out got started in 1995. It was started by Dr. Terry Blackhawk, who was a Detroit Public Schools teacher, and she started bringing some of her poetry friends into the classroom because she was a poet herself. And as she brought her friends in, she noticed that her students started to have a different attitude about writing, that they started to see themselves more as professional artists, as opposed to, your typical just creative writing classroom where you do a poem, you get a grade, and that's it. They really started taking ownership of their artistry. And so she started expanding this program and built InsideOut Literary Arts. And since then, Inside Out has expanded beyond the classroom. We still serve classrooms, but we also have an after-school Citywide Poets program. I was a part of both the in-school and the after-school program. And then we also do community partnerships. So you may see us working with places like Hunting House, the Detroit Zoo, DIA, African American History Museum, you name it, we've probably been a partner with them at some point, and we're always looking to partner with more places in Detroit to increase poetry, but more than anything, increase youth confidence, give youth an outlet, a creative outlet, and a social and emotional growth outlet. And we believe that that really happens through poetry that's written on the page and that's spoken on the mic.
You know, I think it's so important because, you know, not only just giving the students a outlet to be artistic and to be use self-expression, but yeah, that voice is important. I mean, a lot of times, you know, to know that you have the power, that first of all, people want to hear you, and then secondly, that they're going to stop and listen and analyze everything that you say. That's a lot of power and there's a lot of responsibility, you know. And I think, you know, letting students know that they have that power at an early age, but also have the responsibility to share their voice, to share their words, to share their experiences in meaningful ways. You know, I think, you know, Inside Out is definitely important when it comes to, motivating students and molding students in that way. I like the way you said, you know, we thought we was just playing, but hey, little did you know, this is something that was very empowering. And so I love to see students want, you know, when they, you know, whether it's a poetry slam or whether they're sharing something, and you guys help students publish too, right?
Absolutely. So what we do is, for our in-school program, we are helping students to write towards a goal. So you're going through the writing process, and it's more than just kind of turning in an essay to your teacher. At the end, you are published in a book that you can take home to your family and friends. I still actually have my book that I was published in all the way back in 2001, 2002. That was the 2001, 2002 school year. First time being published, and it wasn't the last. So it really gives a momentum to students at the end when there's something that they can tangibly hold. And then for our Citywide Poets, our after school program, we invite those students to submit to be published as well. And some of our students have been our youth poet laureates. So they've had their own book. They weren't just published in an anthology with the rest of students. They had their own publication, book promotion, and reading to start their careers off. And some of them have gone on to do amazing things just from that jump off point of having their own work published. And to create a body of work. I don't know if y'all have, you know, you as a producer, Ronald, I know you know what it's like to put a body of work together and put it out there with your name on it. You know what that means and how it can carry you on to new things, how it can carry your name on to new things. So that publishing piece is so huge to us.
Yeah. Now, question. Now, prior to you being involved with the Inside Out program, were you interested in writing? Was this something that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I was definitely interested in writing. I was not interested in performing. I was an extremely shy student. I didn't like to talk much. I loved to write. I started writing as soon as I could read. You know, I started trying to trick my parents into thinking I knew how to read before I could. So it was always an interest. And we find that with a lot of students, that they have maybe an interest, but they don't have a group to really feed that interest, or they don't have a particular mentor, or they have a super caring teacher, but that teacher also has to care for 30 other students. So when they get into a smaller group, they get that one-on-one attention that really pushes them to try new things and take new risks. That's definitely what happened for me. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna perform a poem. And then I did it the first time in front of an audience, and the exhilaration, I was like, oh, this is a new wave. And it actually set my writing off in another path. I'm a playwright, and that's what I do as my second career. And so, yeah, theater was not a thing I was thinking about, but because poetry and performance poetry introduced me to that world of put your voice on a mic, it just made so many other things make sense. One of my favorite things is I was working with a group of students at Marcus Garvey Academy, and we were actually working on another program with Inside Out called Book Up, where we put books in students' hands, build their personal libraries, and make books more of a discussion and things to respond to. And when this kid, he was an 8th grader, introduced himself, he said, "I'm a football player and a poet." And to be able to find that intersection, between what you say and what your body can do, that's really powerful to me. to be able to balance that.
Yeah, no, and your story resonates with me personally. I was somebody who did not like school. I did not enjoy school. Like, to me, it was a means to an end. But in I want to say my junior year in high school, we had a new teacher, African-American young lady. Her name was Miss Boone. She allowed for me, because that's when I was getting into hip hop and things like that. So I would write and things like that. But she allowed for me to write rhymes for my assignments, right? Yes. And that just, for me, that just spoke volumes to me. And that was a class that I enjoyed. Somebody who did not like school. I love learning, I love education, but didn't like the system of school. But she allowed for me to be me and have a voice. You know what I'm saying? That just spoke volumes. So to hear that's what Inside Out is doing is just is phenomenal. So that encourages me to hear, and even hear that, like you said, like you had this teacher that started to bring poets into the classroom, to maybe even change the trajectory of some of these young people. So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So I Ron mentioned hip hop, and is there any overlap between the poetry and hip hop, maybe, with that Inside Out does?
Yes, there's always overlap. Poetry is hip hop. Hip hop is poetry, So we bring in artists, and what we ask those artists to do is bring themselves with them into the classroom. So whatever it is that they are into, we try to make sure that they instill that in the youth as well and bring it to their attention. So we've definitely had hip hop artists that have worked with us, but we also create lesson plans that maybe our non-performing hip hop folk can take on, that finds a balance. So we say you should have just as much Keats as you do Kanye, and that's an old reference now, but bringing real voices that are happening right now into the classroom is really important to me, and it's really important to our artists. So if it takes doing Roddy Ricch lyrics to talk about what a metaphor and wordplay is, to me, that's the perfect place to start, is right there with what's already in youth's ears, what they already want to hear, what they're already listening to anyway, and trying to help them decipher what hip hop is really saying to them and understand the mechanics of it so they can use it themselves. That's a part of poetry to us. So we bring in hip hop. We've had journalists, we've had playwrights, we've had song lyricists come in. We've had all different types of people come and say, okay, this is poetry and here's how it can apply in all these different directions. There's no one path. You can go anywhere on the cardinal sign.
So, there are opportunities out there with Inside Detroit. You guys are hiring.
We are definitely hiring, and that actually connects to the virtual space too. In March of 2020, when Governor Whitmer kind of gave the pause, a lot of Black and brown artists lost their gigs, lost their livelihood. And we know it was a tough year for people. And so we are really excited to invite people back into the space. And we know that it's really important for our artists to be able to work with youth who reflect their experiences, that they feel like they can give that knowledge to. And we know it's just as important for our youth to be able to interact with people who have been in their shoes. So InsideOut Literary Arts, we are definitely calling for more writers and residents. It is a residency program, and that you will spend a certain number of weeks in a school with students, either for our in-school or our after-school program. You do lesson planning. We support you with lesson planning. We also have our own lesson plans and curriculums that we provide. You will work with students on going through the writing process, but also how do they apply their writing process to using writing as a tool for coping, as a tool for sharing their happiness, sharing their voice, and then also reaching a particular goal. our writers are not just writers in the classroom. They're not just teachers. They are professional teaching artists. And so we really ask them to bring their artistry and their full selves so that they can give students a whole child experience. You are writing mentors for them and examples of what's possible. And that's what I love. I love possibility models. So that's what our Writer in Residence program is about. And people who apply can expect to work anywhere from 2 to 10 hours per week, just depending on what your placement is. We also provide professional development. It is paid professional development because it is worthwhile to grow folk. We also offer opportunities for people to be guest artists in the classroom. So maybe you can't make a commitment, but you want to share what you have with students. And then we also have volunteer opportunities for people who are just like, you know what, I just want to give. I just want to give. We host youth events, open mics, poetry slams. And so we're always looking for people to come and support the youth in that way, and offer just their face, their voice, their hand claps, and sometimes their mentorship.
And so you said you have guest opportunities, guest artist opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and then paid opportunities. Can you tell us more about the compensation?
Yes. So for our writers in residence, if you are a lead writer, meaning you're the one kind of facilitating the lesson in the classroom or facilitating the after school conversation, we compensate people at $55 an hour. On top of that, your paid training, we compensate at $15 an hour. And again, you are looking at a placement that's 2 to 10 hours per week. So we try to be very competitive in what we pay. We also sometimes offer one-off opportunities to do other things, such as lead a workshop, and we pay for those opportunities as well.
Mm-hmm. And so those who may be watching and like, that sounds, I'm an artist, I write, I maybe do hip hop, or whatever. They're watching this, but they may feel a little intimidated by the whole lead artist, teaching artist thing. Like, what could you say to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say if you're interested in working with InsideOut at all, you should apply. Because if we don't have a lead teaching artist position for you, we definitely have assistant positions. And those are great ways to get in the classroom, see somebody who really knows what they're doing at work, take some pointers from them. I definitely sit in and watch classroom sessions, offer feedback, offer training opportunities. I've been doing this work for 15 years. Sometimes I say more than that because I started doing it as a youth with InsideOut. So apply anyway. Our assistants are paid $20 an hour for their assisting, and that's $20 an hour of really training yourself to get into a better position to be a lead teaching artist. And those assistants are so important because we need students to have one-on-one attention in the classroom. So having extra people there who really care is important, and it's an opportunity to grow, and it's an opportunity to grow your own artist community. That's one of the things I love the most, is the number of writers from Detroit or visiting Detroit or dropping into Detroit. National artists sometimes are a part of the InsideOut community. And those are the people that you get to mingle with and learn from and learn with and also teach.
Previous to this, we were talking about that you got that InsideOut was also looking for Black men to fill those positions. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular need?
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely looking for Black men. There's a shortage of, just as you know, and why you exist, there's a shortage of Black men who are able to take on the opportunities in education. I don't think it's a shortage of Black men who know how to do the job. I think it's a shortage of people really reaching out and making it a safe place for them. And so we find that really important. Justin Rogers, my colleague, who is also an alum of the Citywide Poets program and now coordinates that program, We both know that it's really important to have Black male voices for our students as an example, and to show Black men who care about these students. So we're definitely looking for people who are interested in working with youth, who are interested in sharing their own artistry, and who can demystify in a way how art is created and then break that down for youth. That's who we really want. And if you are feeling a little apprehensive, like I haven't done this before, I invite you to apply, because we are really interested in just growing artists who want to do the work. And so we'll meet you where you are and see if it's a good fit, and then get you the training you need to feel that you can be successful in the classroom and continue to build those relationships with students that will grow exponentially over time.
And where should, if there's someone who's interested, who's watching this right now, where should they go to apply?
Absolutely. So you want to go to InsideOutDetroit.org, and you can /WIR apply. Or you can just visit our website, InsideOutDetroit.org, and then you will just click on our About page, and you will see a link to our Writer in Residence application. And then if you want to know a little bit more about what our youth do, definitely check out our YouTube channel. You can check out Inside Out Detroit on YouTube, or Citywide Poets on YouTube, and you can see how our youth just kick the door out.
Yeah. And they definitely kick it out. I got a chance to see some of their work, and I would also add that those of you who are part of the In Demand community, everything that we just said, everything that Shawntai just said, will be linked on our website as well, on IamInDemand.com under our partners page. So you can find that application, the links to that application, links to Inside Out Literacy Arts. You can find those links on IamInDemand.com as well. I wanted to say, such a great opportunity. When I think Ron said this earlier, when I see young people who start off in the program rise up to leadership roles in the program, that shows me that that there's some secret, and there's a secret sauce to what you guys are doing. You guys have it, because that's the thing. I remember listening to audio. It was a story on a podcast or something. It was it's a story about this guy. I think he was a pararescue man, and these guys jump out of planes with parachutes and stuff, right? To get to areas to help, whatever, right? So this particular guy was training a group of students, right? So he trained them one day. He's like, look, this is how you do this is how you do that. If this happens, if there's a problem in the air, this is how you get to the person to save them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So, he's teaching them everything they need to know, right?
Yeah.
So they go out on their first jump the next day. Danger, right? Something happens, right? Where the instructor is in trouble. And guess who had to save him? The same students he taught the day before. And so for me, that's what it's all about to me. Of course, we're not jumping out of planes, but it's like being able to teach the students that's going to take over for you, or hey, that's going to save, really going to save the next generation as well. Like with, teach them how to use their voice in your case and things like that. So it's always important as a teacher, and I'm a teacher. Ron, is in a position as a educator as well. We want to see our young people rise up to the place where they can take over for it. So is it Miss Blackhawk?
Yes, Dr. Blackhawk.
Dr. Blackhawk. So I know that she's feeling very good about the fruit of her labor, being able to come back and take over for and provide those same opportunities and more with the next generation of students.
Oh yeah. She's definitely loving it. She's always, chiming in to see what the youth are still doing, even though she's moved on. She's still putting books out. She's still writing. She's still doing her artistry. And yeah, Dr. Blackhawk is definitely proud of where the organization has gone from where it started. And I'm super proud. I love reading a student poem and thinking in my head and usually saying out loud to them, like, one day I'm going to be taking your workshop. One day you're going to be teaching me something about the craft of writing, because you got a juice that I don't even know what the ingredients are yet. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see where the youth go all the time. And they are our future leaders. They will be taking care of us one day. So I think it's really important that we invest in them now, and we take them seriously, and we treat them with the respect that they come with. And they are artists. And so, yeah, I'm excited to continue the work. I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk about it. And I appreciate that y'all are constantly, providing more opportunities and informing people of more opportunities to get Black men and Black males in spaces where youth are, to have a stronger influence, because we need it. We need everybody.
And I'll say that, as we close up, Black men, those of you who have, and Ron can attest to this as well, that, there's an overlap between hip hop and education. A lot of people who were involved in hip hop or performing arts or like poetry, things like that, they always find their way in a space where they are an educator. I know so many educators that have that background. So, with that being said, if you are a Black man and you're looking to be activated and you have those skills that we've talked about today, whether it's writing prose, whether it's writing hip hop lyrics, whether it's writing stories, if you have that background, I would say reach out, share your passions with the next generation and inspire them. But also, here's the thing that we don't talk about enough, is that although you're doing this good for the next generation and for others, it does good for you as well. It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel proud and happy and joyful to be able to work with with the next generation. So, hey, thank you, Shawntai. I don't know if there's anybody have any last thoughts, anything to add, Ron or Shawntai, but you can at this time.
Well, no, I just definitely want to encourage, any of the young men and women who might be interested, be a part of this organization. Like I said, I'm familiar with their work. They do great work. I know some people that I'm connected with that have been a part of their organization for years, and they speak very highly of them. So yes, like Mr. Nello Zaquan was saying, that if you want to be involved with helping to shape and mold that next generation of creative artists, activists, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a great space to do that. So that's my little 2 cents.
I don't have anything else. I just am really grateful. Thank you both so much. I think the only last thing I have is, it's been my thing all year, is just what's on your playlist right now.
You want us to answer that?
Yeah.
Ryan, go ahead, bro.
All right, so actually I've been listening to this group called Red Hands.
Okay.
Yeah, they have like a neo soul. They're like a neo soul type worship group. Like that stuff is pretty dope. So I've been rocking out to Red Hands for these past couple months. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest and give you my playlist that I'm looking at right now. The most recent joints I've added. There's a song called "The Weight" by the band, and so this is like I think maybe in the 70s. It's a real folksy type of song, but everybody from Aretha Franklin to the Supremes to the Temptations had remade it.
Okay.
But it's just an interesting song. They go, like, this group goes into a town. They just talking about everything that they see in this town. So I'm listening to that J. Cole. I'm particularly like that. The new J. Cole. That My Life song is interesting. I kind of like that song. Listening to my boy, it always gives me inspiration. Is Lamar Sanders. He has loads, and he's a local. He's actually a local artist. Like, he's a painter. but he owns a business called Hour, which is like a mobile paint party for groups of people and things like that. But he's a musician as well. But he gifted me with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of instrumentals that I can just put on and play. And with that, got a little bit of Damuda Fudge Monk playing too. So that's what's on my list right now.
Awesome.
How about you, Shawntai?
Oh man, Dua Saleh is an artist that I found a couple years ago, put out a new project. So I only listened to one song so far, but I'm feeling it. So I'm gonna go back and listen to some more Dua Saleh. And I am an Intisada baby, you know. Yes, and then recently, you know, I've been going back into my Mariah Carey feels. So I just got back on the Rainbow album and was getting my whole, you know, middle school life back together. And that's been a fun journey. So I got a few different genres I'm hopping between right now.
Nah, that's perfect. Okay. All right. Well, hey. Hey, there it is. Shoot, if you guys seeing this and y'all care to share what's on your playlist, you know, in the comment section, you'll do that as well. Hey, thank you, Shawntai. Thank you, Ron, for coming on. Definitely, Black men, you're needed in this artistic space as well. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.